Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is talk about entity info. And what this does is it allows me to help keep track of the content inside of my SketchUp model. You remember that you have the selector or the instructor that helps you understand what to use, how your tools are working. And the entity info allows me to understand the properties of various elements on the screen. So we have straight lines, we have faces, we have edges, we have loose architecture, we have groups, and we have components. So if I select this straight line here and I go up and look at my entity info, it tells me that it is an edge. I can use soft or smooth. I have the choice of whether or not the object is hidden or cast shadow. So if I click hidden, the shape is hidden, and then I have to go back up to edit and go down to unhide and choose all to unhide it. I'll select it again. And if it's just a straight line or some or an edge, I can change it. So I could say, let's make this 4 feet, and you'll see that it has received that instruction. Let's click on our character. So this is Chris, and he is a component. You'll see it says component in here. And he is both casting and receiving shadows, okay? So if I click on just this surface right here, it just gives me the surface area. Okay, that's all it does is it gives me the surface area, right? Let's triple click on this shape, and we're going to right click and make it a group. So when it's a group, you'll see that this is a solid group, which means that it's closed, and it's a solid group 1 in model, and it's receiving and casting shadows. I can give it an instance name, which is a way to control or just keep track of my objects. Okay. And that's really all that that does is, and then I can double click and open it and do all the regular editing that I would do. But it just identifies it as that kind of shape on the screen. With the selection tool, I'm going to triple click this shape, right click and make it a component. And I'll give it a name, OFSY603. Okay. And click create. And so now when I select the shape, you'll see that it tells me that this is a solid component. There's only one, and they're all on layer 0. And we'll talk about layers later because the problem is that SketchUp has kind of gotten rid of the idea of layers. They've kind of gotten rid of that concept. But it's just layers are just similar to layers in other applications. And so when I select the shape, it tells me what type of entity it is. Now, if I click on the circle here, the face, it just gives me the area. But if I click on its edge, you'll give me the radius and the number of segments. So I could change the radius. Let's say I wanted it to be 3 feet, or let's make it 2 feet. Oop, I think I added those two numbers together. Let's make this 2 feet. As you can see, I can change it because it's just an edge. And then I can increase or decrease the number of segments. The more segments, the smoother the shape will be, okay? And I can do that with the polygon here. If I click on this edge, once again, I can change the number of segments. Okay. And so on. And that is an explanation of your entity info panel.